All right, good Thursday evening, everybody. Got an update a little bit earlier tonight because I wanted to get this information out there as soon as possible, that the models are in better agreement, as we thought that they would come into better agreement today or tomorrow. And the verdict is we're probably not going to see anything in the way of any type of wintry weather this weekend. At best, maybe a flurry in the Pine Belt Saturday evening, but I think that would be about it. So let's take a look at this step by step. First of all, tonight we've got high pressure right overhead. We know that because we can see the winds spiraling out from a center point in a clockwise fashion right over South Mississippi. So that's where the high pressure is. When high pressure is overhead, clear, calm winds, dry air, cold, we're going to be below freezing. Again, during the overnight, now I think our freezing temperatures are going to be in the middle of the night as the high pressure continues to move eastward. Before even sunrise tomorrow, winds could turn back in from the south, and we could even see temperatures warm up a degree or two before sunrise, and then after the sun comes up, temperatures are really going to take off because we're going to see sun, again, relatively dry air, and our winds coming in from the southwest and increasing to about 10 miles per hour. So today's high temperature in Jackson was 49. Tomorrow, we're going to be 15 to 20 degrees warmer. We're looking at mid to upper 60s for highs on your Friday afternoon, but that's temporary because the front's going to come in Friday evening with a low chance of rain, and of course it's going to cool us down for the weekend. No rain on Live IMAX 12. Next chance is coming for tomorrow night, though. Right now, that temperature already down to freezing at about 32 degrees, so yeah, it's going to be freezing tonight. It already is down to 32, but I think we're just going to drop maybe a couple more degrees, upper 20s to low 30s, and then again, those temperatures are going to, the winds are going to start to turn around, and that's going to prevent temperatures from cooling even more. In fact, we could even warm up. So first thing in the morning, we could even be above freezing, warming up to about 33, 34 in the Port Gibson and Natchez area. Everybody else between about 28 and 31 degrees. And then tomorrow afternoon, it's pretty nice. We're going to see sun initially, temperatures climbing into the mid to upper 60s, and then there's that chance of rain late in the day. So here's our front coming in late Friday afternoon, Friday evening. It's a fast mover. That's why we're not expecting much of anything in the way of rain. We will get some, but the coverage is going to be pretty low, and I'm thinking mostly southeast of Jackson. Then once we get to Saturday, the cold air is already going to be in place. We're going to see an area of low pressure developing along the front to the west of Florida, and I want you to notice that we do have some Gulf moisture coming in behind the front, flowing in over that cold air, and that's what we thought might move over Mississippi and give us some type of wintry mix, but I think that's going to stay well to the south of us now. In fact, this is what we're looking at. If you remember yesterday, our European model was the one that was like, not much is going to happen, maybe a couple sprinkles out of this. Now, this is when the front comes through. We always expected that to be rain on Friday night, and the coverage down to about 30, maybe 40% in the Pine Belt, and it's going to move through pretty quickly. Then the front comes through, cold air's in place, some of that Gulf moisture tries to come back in, but it only gets about as far north as the Gulf Coast. Let's say New Orleans, the I-20 corridor, and at this point I'm thinking most of that is going to be in the form of rain. We might get a flurry mixed in. That's the European model. And notice there's a little bit better of a chance farther to the east, but of course by then we are done with it. That's the European model. This is the American model. This is the one that went gangbusters yesterday with the risk for wintry precipitation in central and in south Mississippi. We'll take a look at it today. This is Saturday evening, and it looks almost exactly the same as the European model, which is what we were expecting. GFS yesterday was an outlier, and now it's come back in with the rest of the models, and they're pretty much agreeing, so we have much better confidence that we're not going to see anything, especially here in Jackson, in terms of wintry weather. Again, there's going to be some moisture down around the Pine Belt, likely between Hattiesburg and Biloxi. Could there be a flurry mixed in there briefly Saturday evening? There could be. Just like the other model, I think chances are better farther to the east over Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolinas. But for us, pretty much, we're not going to see anything. Now, the models will continue to be updated every several hours or so, and things could change, but it's unlikely. I think at this point, we know that it's really just going to be cold after that front comes through Friday night. So there's going to be enough cloud cover around Saturday that we won't fall below freezing, but then after that cold air settles in, look at where we are. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday morning in the mid-20s, and we're actually going to stay below freezing for most mornings next week. Now, again, we got low chances of rain Friday evening when the front comes in. We may bring in a little bit of rain towards the end of next week as well, but again, low chances, and the coverage not that great. So we actually could use more rain. This is our wet time of the year. The winter, the spring in Mississippi, this is usually when we get most of our rain. This is kind of our wet season. We're just not getting a whole lot this year. We've only gotten about an inch and a half, I believe, 1.7 inches of rain in the first half of the month of January. So that is subpar for us, and we don't have really good prospects of rain over the next week. There's going to be a few bouts of rain here and there, but just not a whole lot. So we're back in a drought situation over a significant part of the state, about a third of the state in a moderate drought, about a tenth of the state in a severe drought, and that is mostly around the Natchez area in southwestern Mississippi, and it likely is going to get worse before it gets better. All right, tonight, clear and cold will be below freezing during the overnight, and because winds are going to be light, there's going to be a better opportunity for some frost during the overnight through tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow, it is going to be warmer thanks to our winds shifting back around to the southwest. Initially, we get sun. Temperatures are going to be in the mid-60s in the afternoon, and then later in the evening, the front comes in with that 30% chance of rain. I do think chances are going to be a little bit higher the farther south and east you live of the metro. So, over the weekend now, we're just calling for really cold weather, especially Sunday. Sunday is going to be brutally cold, really. 25 in the morning, just 42 in the afternoon. Even with sunshine, we're back down below freezing. Monday for Martin Luther King Day, a little bit better in the afternoon. It'll be mostly sunny with a high of 51. Cold again Tuesday, and then we start to warm up. Clouds increase, and that's going to bring back, again, low chances of rain for the end of next week, around Thursday and Friday, about a 30% chance with highs in the 60s. So I know folks might have wanted to see some snow, but I just don't think most of us are going to see much of anything this weekend. By the way, just point of interest, that big snow that we had last January along the Gulf Coast, remember 10 inches in New Orleans and Mobile and not Biloxi. I think they got a little bit less there, but it was Pensacola, Mobile, New Orleans got about 10 inches. That was January the 21st last year. So the 1 year anniversary of that is coming up in just a couple of days, and we are not going to match that this weekend. Again, a flurry at best. Saturday evening, briefly in the Pine Belt. That's all that's going to happen. All right, that is our forecast for this evening. Meteorologist Megan Hanna is going to be here in the morning with your next update. Have a good night.